So next module is operating system related stuff. So operating system means we need to understand what is operating system. So if you go to the any server, desktop, MacBook, or any computing services, any computer, need the computer need a the computer need a hardware first, CPU and RAM and hard disk. CPU, RAM and hard disk we need. Hard disk we need. So these three components are needed for any server. That server may be, what are the servers we have? If you remember in old session, so what are the servers we have? We have the physical server where you have the big missions and all. You have the VMware server where you have the one big server. On top of that, you can create a virtual machines, and we have the cloud server. It may be AWS, Azure, Google, or something. So recently there is a some more servers came. Those are like containers kind of thing, Docker container. That is the file based like application directly the container. So the Docker is the DOCK here. Docker is the one of the server. It also act as a server, but nothing is there. It is just a file. Well, one file act as a server. So that Docker, DOCK, yeah, Docker is the latest version of the server. That server act as, I will explain that as well as part of our training. So the Dockers are just containers. So the container is kind of, one virtual server, but there is no server, nothing is there. Your application itself act as a server. So that is the latest version where the DevOps people are working on this area. So the developers and all, they are creating this type of servers and all. Even DevOps people also need to understand this whole basic concept because they need to understand the CPU, memory, hard disk, and so the whatever we discuss, it is there for everyone. So that is the one thing. So now coming to every hardware you understand, servers you understand, but whatever the server doesn't matter. Every server must be having operating system. Without operating system, there is no use of the server, right? So there is a two types of, first of all, operating system is OS. OS is the main component of the software, we can say. So operating system is the main component of the server, main component of the server. So it has there is a two types of operating systems: Windows operating system and Unix operating systems in the market. So whatever you see, the other Mac and all, they are flavors of this only. Okay, but operating systems means only two operating systems. One is Windows, the second one is the Unix operating system. So now we are very clear about what is operating system. So the operating system means, like, simply you can say what is OS. So OS means, like, simply we can say operating system is the main component of the software. It has the it is the heart of software, we can say. It is the interface between user and hardware, and it is doing all the operations like memory management, CPU management, and all the everything is handled by your resources and applications, and everything is handled by the operating system only. So operating system means this kind of software developed by the Microsoft and Unix and all. So there is a two types of operating systems we understand: Windows operating system and the Unix operating system. Coming to Windows operating system, while creating the Windows operating system, he created as a two versions. One is the desktop version. I already explained about what is desktop version, what is the server version. There is a two types of operating systems are created by this thing. There is a two types of operating systems. One is the desktop edition. The second one is the server edition. If you go to the desktop edition, if you go to the desktop edition and server edition, two editions are there, right? In these two editions, in these two editions, in these two editions, mostly we never work on this area because we are into Unix environment. But still, we are going towards the cloud. Just outline, we need to understand there is a desktop software and server software. Desktop software means I already explained that desktop software has only desktop operations like your printer, small tasks, MS Office you can install and you can manage. Whereas the server operating system is not like that. Server operating system is kind of server operating system is kind of 2000 Windows 2020, 19, 16, 12 like server operating system. The server operating system, if you install in one server, that server acts as a server only. If you install the operating system in one server, if you buy one server and you can install the Windows 2016, suppose, then that and once you install the Windows 2016, then this after that after Windows 2016, then you can able to install the Oracle database on top of that. After installing OS 2016, that is the server operating system, then you can able to install the Oracle software on top of this. Then you can install the application. Then you can use this for the business purpose. So whereas the desktop, if you have the one laptop or desktop or something, if you buy and you can install the Windows 2010 software, the desktop software, then try to install the Oracle. It tells you, so it won't install because this is the desktop version. It is Oracle is telling, okay, you need server software for this Windows 2016 or 18 or 19, like whatever the versions available Windows. So only server version is expecting, so it will not install, and it will install in only server version only. So it's not only Oracle database, it may be MySQL database, it may be Oracle database, it may be PLSQL or any databases. Or on top of that, you want to install the Java software, then you can install the some other Python, any whatever the softwares you are going to manage as a administration related, like the server related, is going to install only that one. So that is the most important. I hope everyone understand this. If anyone not clear, let me know. Anyone not clear about um, desktop edition and server edition and operating system. There is a two types of operating systems: Windows operating system, Linux operating system. In Windows operating system, desktops as well as server operating system is there. Now you are clear about the difference between server and the desktop and the operating system and all. So go ahead, any questions here, anyone? You can raise your hand, I can unmute you guys and you can talk, okay? Just raise your hand if you have any questions. I will unmute you. From Monday onwards, it is completely interactive. No need to no mute and all. So we are still waiting for registration of for this course. So just to take decision, nothing you will lose from my training. So I'm very good experience. You never find the trainer like me. That I can say myself like I'm very strong. So because the thing is, I have almost 22 years of experience, 21. So very good experience. So this whole experience I can deliver in my training. So that's why I can say my training is great. So no need to think. Yeah. So no need to think too much about the course. So this is just a matter of one week of your salary. So that's what I can tell you. If you want to save 25,000, yeah, that is your life. Only nothing we can do with that. Solely about that. So please try to register for this course as soon as possible. Don't take too much time. As soon as possible. Okay. So don't take too much, please. So any questions here before going to Unix operating system?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. This is Raja from Chennai. Actually, today only I joined this session. I just wanted to know about the job placement. Is that 100% job placement? I mean, only the job assistance or the placement?
Yeah, it's 100 assistance only, like 100%. I am sure about that you will get 100% job, but I will not give you guarantee, but definitely you will get the job.
Okay.
Yeah, because the training what I'm giving you, that a cloud engineer. This course is like a cloud engineer, which include AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Terraform.
Okay, fine. And I have one more question. My background is arts graduation only. I mean, BCom, not the engineering graduate. Okay, but I'm in the industry last 10 years as an infrastructure engineer, and I'm taking care of the middleware things. And now I'm working as a middleware administrator. So, is that possible to switch over to DevOps or a cloud engineer without the engineering background? I'm asking.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You are in IT in 10 years, but still you have that potential. But still,
Sorry, your voice is breaking.
so you are in 10 years in IT, but still you
Yes.
have that question.
Yeah, because why? Because when I am applying some jobs, I'm not getting any calls, and the company is also asking the background of engineering if you have completed engineering or something like that. They are asking, so that's why my worry.
No, no, no. So many become people are there in IT. There is no problem. Even you are in IT right now. Middleware is almost close to AWS. I mean, cloud, AWS. That's up.
Yes.
Yeah. So no worry about that. You will get very good jobs. So you understand, right?
Hi,
So
sir.
please
Go
go
ahead.
on.
Yeah. So, sir, you said it's about the training is about the cloud engineer. It is not specific to AWS or Microsoft, right? It will be combination of all the cloud service providers, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, like we will be having a hands-on experience, like the lab, we will be doing it on all the platforms, or is that only
Yes.
AWS?
No, no, all labs. All labs. We can
All,
do.
okay. Can do it in all. Okay.
Yeah, we need to
Okay.
do in all the labs.
Okay.
So that is the one thing. Now coming to, we are going to Unix operating system. So now you are very clear about there is a operating system functionality. There is a two types of operating systems, Windows and Unix. Windows you understand. Now Unix. Unix is also same like Windows. Whatever you do, like don't think like Windows is different from Unix. But only the difference is whatever you do in Windows environment, so the same thing you can do in Unix. So why we go for Unix? I will explain. But operation wise, just imagine there is no difference. Here also you can install the software. Here also you can install the software. Here also you can create the users. Here also you can create the users, applications, and everything is same as it is. There is no single difference between Windows operating system and Unix operating system. The functionality is the same as it is. So the operation is same as it is. So the purpose also you can use, this is for business, this for business, this for application, this for application, this for database, this for database, this for printing configuration, this for, so everything is same as it is. But this is the GUI, this is the GUI, this is the command line. That is the only the only difference. CLI. Only difference is GUI and command line. So that is the one thing we are learning. The same as like here also you can create a notepad. Here also you can create a notepad. Here also same, in traditionally we are doing MS Office. Here also you can do office related. Here also you can do like your softwares you can install. Here also you can do the softwares like whatever, go to meeting or everything you can manage same as it is, but not the GUI. So that is the difference between Windows and Unix. We'll discuss more, but at least outline. Now coming to what is Unix exactly. Unix is also one of the operating system developed by Dennis Rich from long time back, and he created as a open source. Open source means you can open the source code. You can open the source code, and you can open the source code. You can do anything. You can open the actual code and you can do any changes in the software level, any changes in the code level. And you don't want Windows notepad here. Suppose in traditionally in Windows environment, if you don't want, I want a start button here, I want some other location. Otherwise, I don't want this notepad. I don't want to like some other dashboards. You can't do anything. That is only Microsoft can able to do. These are all done by only Microsoft. But uh, uh, these are all done by only Microsoft. But we can do only Microsoft. But whereas Unix, you can do anything with operating system level. You can modify your operating system level, source code level. That's why this Unix is developed by my Dennis Rich and put as a open source. That's why so many companies are creating their own operating system. So that is the Linux operating system, and AIX operating system, and HP. Like different companies created their own operating system. Different companies created their own operating systems out of this Unix box, Unix operating system. By taking Unix operating system, these companies are created their own operating system. I will explain about that. But at least you understand what is Unix. And here we need to understand this is the open source. So because of the open source property, so many companies created their own operating system like the meaning of open source you understand, right? Anyone not clear, let me know the meaning of open source. Nilima, you understand the open source
Oh
meaning?
yeah, I know what open source is. Thanks.
Yeah. So the open source means you can open the software level and you can do whatever the code changes and all. Because of that open source property, Red Hat company developed the Linux. So Red Hat company developed the Linux, and IBM company developed the AIX. HP company developed the HP Unix. So HP company developed the HP Unix. So then Sun company developed the Sun Solaris. Now it is Oracle. Oracle buy that and they are using. So that means because of the open source, there is a lot of companies, they created their own operating systems by taking the Unix flavor, Unix core. That's why these are all called as a flavors of Unix. These are all called as a flavors of Unix. So, so Unix, these are all like Unix flavors. These are all Unix flavors. Red Hat company developed Linux, IBM company AX, HP, and all. So that is the flavors of Unix. Why these are become flavors? Because these are all created from actual source code. So that's why these are all Unix flavors. I hope everyone understand this. What is Unix? What are the different operating systems in different companies? And what are the different flavors of Unix? And which one is the popular and why Unix is much popular, and also I will explain. Before that, any questions here? Because of the open source, not only these companies, there is a lot of companies like Tesla, the car, right? Tesla car, 99% of the car is running on only using Linux. The complete Linux it is. Linux with the AI, artificial intelligence, and they integrated and they are using. So that means like totally it is total Linux operating system. So how they are using because of open source. This is the open source because of the open source property. Because of open source property, so that the open source they can open the source code and they can do whatever they want. So now you are very clear about what is open source meaning, right? So any questions here? Any questions here? So anyone, any questions here about open source meaning? Not only this, you have a lot of appliances like lift systems and so many components like because of the Linux only there is a lot of other technologies are developed. Your MacBook, iPhone also. iPhone is total Linux. iPhone and MacBook. Why? Because this is the open source. Unix is the open source. These are all developed from the Unix operating system. That's why it is very much stable, virus free. And why we go for Unix, even Windows is there. So before that, any questions here? Anyone, please go ahead.
May I know which language they use to develop this OS?
C++.
Okay.
Total background is C++. So the total background, they are using C++ software. So before that, any questions, anyone, before going to Unix and Linux? Nilima, you understand, right? Any other people, you can raise your hand and you can talk. You can just unmute yourself and you can also talk. That is the one more thing. Now coming to Unix operating system, right? So why people are going for Unix operating system? Even Windows is there. So any idea, any clue? Any idea why people are looking for Unix? Even Linux is there.
It is more secure.
Yeah, it is more secure, right? So it is more secure, first thing. Second thing is second thing is we have many advantages. One is more secure. Anyone, any clue?
It's open source.
It is open source. Any other one? It is open source. It is one more important. It is free. It is free. And one more.
You mean like it's free in the sense if we use Unix is free, right? If we use any other platform, any other flavor like AEX or the Red Hat, we don't need to buy any license for that.
Yeah, 1 minute. Just hold on 1 minute. Yeah, just 1 more minute. I just You might be having some idea, right? Why we go for Unix? Two options, right? So please go ahead. Any other answers?
Sir, when you say free, okay, so is it like all favors are free when
Not
you use this OS?
not the flavor. The Unix. We are talking about Unix.
Only Unix, only
The
Unix.
Unix is free operating system.
Okay.
Yeah. So Unix is free. By taking that Unix, we can create. Suppose if you created something which is like which is free available, right? So it is not free. The mud is free. Whatever you make out of that is not free, right? You understand that, I mean? So water is free, but if you purify the water, it is not free. Like, so you understand, right? Hello,
Yes,
hello.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that, like that, based on their operating system, they created lot of operating systems out of that. So that is the most important. So that is the most important thing we need to understand. So not only that, it is free and open source, and security is more secure, and it can drive more number of users, more number of CPUs, more number of processes, more number of services it can handle. And one more most important thing is, if you go to the um, server in Windows, every 45 days you need to reboot the server. So that is recommended by company itself. But if you go to the uh, company itself, in the sense, company itself, like that Microsoft itself, they recommended you need to reboot. Suppose if there is any issue in Windows and they raise the case with vendor, immediately they are asking, did you rebooted the server from past 45 days? If say no and you need to reboot that server, they like that, they will suggest. So that means it is recommended. But whereas Unix is not like that. 10 years also it will run as it is. Without rebooting, 10 years also the business is running like that. So that means you can say like it is more and more stable. It is stable. And one more most important thing is, it is, we said like it is virus free. So there is no virus in Unix environment. So why virus is not there? So that is the one more important. Why it is more secure? If someone asks you in interview why it is more secure, any idea, any clue? So it is the more secure because if you go to the architecture of the operating system Windows, the hardware always communicating with the kernel to user. That means user is always contact directly with the kernel. The user is always communicating directly with the kernel. That's why the user may be sending some illegal functions, illegal softwares, and illegal code to the kernel, and he destroy the operating system of Windows. That is virus. Virus means nothing. Virus is nothing but destroying your source code. So that is the virus. So, but whereas the Unix environment is not like that. So the Unix environment is not like that. Hardware, shell, shell, and the hardware kernel. In between kernel and the user, there is a shell in between. So the user is here. User is directly contact to that, never contact to the kernel directly. There is a shell in between. That shell will prevent the unauthorized accesses from user to user to shell, user to kernel. So that means the shell will prevent the unauthorized accesses, unauthorized code, unauthorized things from user to kernel. That's why the kernel never disturb and the kernel never become as a this thing. So that is the most important. So now you are very clear about the difference between user, source code and kernel, like that. So anyone, any confusion, let me know the difference between user, shell, kernel and all these things. So why it is more secure, you understand, right? Why Unix is more secure? You got this point, or still confusion about this? Why it is, first of all, why you go for Unix environment and why it is more secure, and all the points you understand, right? If not clear, let me know very quick.
ఇప్పుడు Apple was built on Unix, so that makes Apple also secure.
Yes, there is no viruses, right? Do you see any virus
Right.
in Apple?
Okay, so all the Mac operating systems are secure because they're on Unix.
Yeah, they are all Unix kernel.
Right.
Yeah. So that is the difference between Windows and Unix operating system. Even in Unix operating system is there. Now the difference understand. Even in Unix environment, we have the Linux, we have the AIX, we have the HP Unix, and we have the Solaris, Sun Microsystem. So even these many there. Why Linux is much popular these days? Which one is the better one? So that means like Linux is very much popular than these four flavors. So previously, when I when I was in Hyderabad and so the Solaris is very much popular. Like 80, at least 60 to 70% of whole India, the Solaris administrators are from my training. It is very hard to believe, but that is the truth because I was very much popular in Solaris training and everyone is learning from me only. So that was that much popular. The subject is like 90% of the servers are Solaris and only 60% of the server, I mean like not 90, 60% of the servers are Solaris and rest of all are like 40%. Rest of all servers, AIX, HP, Linux and all. So most of the market is with Solaris. Now this is almost gone. They shut down the company also. They gave to Oracle and Oracle is destroying the product look like. So they are not giving support and all. So that means like that's the life going on. Like sometimes the companies are itself they are going crazy too. So but very much stable with it's real. So then AEX, HP, these are like IBM. They are still maintaining some standards and it is still running. But HP it is also very rare, like maybe hardly we can say the overall world, like maybe 1,000 systems or 2,000 systems like that we can say. I think I'm not sure. Even I never see the people are using and people are working on this HP Unix. So naukri.com. See, let's see if there is any. But I don't think so. Only Linux is the much popular. Why Linux is that much popular? Next question. So first of all, you understand what are the flavors, but almost you can say Solaris is done. No Solaris. HP also very rare, and only Linux with AIX is better. If you want to go towards only Linux, Linux with the AIX is also better one. HP Unix. So so HP Unix. I also just want to make sure if there any jobs are HP Unix. So Solaris is there, no HP. See, there is no single job in HP Unix. Very rare. But still, Linux and Unix, the salaries are very good. 19 lakhs per annum means very good actually. At 22 lakhs. Every month 2 lakhs. It's very good salaries. Okay. So now you are very clear about So that is the, so now you got the picture, right? What is Unix, flavors of Unix, which one is the better? So then why we go for Linux means, like, there is a difference between if you buy the AIX mission or HP mission or Solaris operating system, you need to buy the hardware also from the same company. That means Solaris keyboard, Solaris mouse, Solaris server, Solaris components, everything is, even support also from the same company. That they don't like it. The companies don't like it, the dependency and all. So that's why companies are always looking for. So here HP, then AX and Solaris missions are there, right? So the components also, they need to buy the same components. So that's why it is, the people don't like, it's very expensive and all. So that's why people are always looking for alternate solution, that is Linux. Linux means you can install Linux in any operating system, any hardware, Dell machine, HP, IBM, or any kind of compact queue. You can buy any hardware and you can use the Linux server. So you can install the Linux operating system. So that's why the Linux is very, very much popular in the market. So because the development environment, QA environment, and testing environment, they are all small servers. They know it doesn't matter how big this mission it is. So that's why people are looking for alternative solution, that is Linux operating system. Now you are very clear about why we go for Linux, even the flavors of Unix, Linux, Solaris, HP, IX is there. Then why we go for Linux? So now you are clear, right? If you understand this, the next one is the next operating system. Next one is the why we go for Red Hat Linux. In Linux also, there is a lot of operating systems are there. Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, CentOS, and Ubuntu. Like many operating systems are there, many Linuxes are there. Then why we go for Red Hat Linux only? So the Red Hat Linux is very much popular in the market. Very much popular in the market. Why it is popular in the market? Because because it is there from long time, first thing. Second thing is it is created, they support, they created support certification, and they will release a lot of patches every quarterly, hourly, and every, the development is also very good and more stable operating system. That's why Red Hat Linux is very, very much popular. So I hope everyone understand this, why Red Hat Linux is much popular. So please go ahead. Any questions here about this Red Hat Linux? Any questions here? Why we go for Red Hat Linux? All are good, right? In this Red Hat Linux, why we go for? I mean, what version you are? What are the different versions we have? Red Hat Linux 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. These are the versions. Out of these are all gone. Like they are already, even 5 also they stop the business. Only we have 6, 7, 8. Only we have 6, 7, 8. Out of that, the 8 is almost new. So still people are developing. Only we have 6 and 7. Only we have 6 and 7 operating system. So we can say I'm working on 6 and 7. Recently we migrated some of the servers to 8, and I'm working on 6, 7, 8. Like that you can explain in interview. So that's what it is going on. So this is just a introduction to operating system. So I will give you the document for this. So I created one document for